Hi everyone, and welcome to Megsmenopause Insta Live with the lovely Rose Ferguson. So good to have you here.
So nice to be
And
here.
you're an amazing nutritionist, and you're an amazing naturopath, and we could do all sorts of things. But this week, I'd just like to talk really because of lockdown. I've had so many DMs of women, putting on weight, don't know what to eat, this diet, that diet, what food this, fad this, fad that. So I thought we would start off just by doing like the ABC of menopause foods.
Yeah.
And I've got something that you wrote that's going up on Meg's Menopause, and it makes loads of sense. So, when I was flicking through it, it covers everything what every woman wants to know. So, for instance, the bit that you wrote at the beginning I was very impressed, and I loved it because it was just like, why is it feared and dreaded? And I was like, yes. It is another hormone change, not dissimilar to that of starting our menses. It cannot be avoided. Every woman goes through it. And there is much we can do nutritionally to support our bodies with this transition. These strategies will help you to emerge healthier and stronger in mind and body than ever before. The average age of menopause is around 51 years old, and there are certain lifestyle, diets and changes that we can make prior to this to ensure that we're ready for it when it comes. These are some common symptoms, as we know, and you've done them all: hot flushes, night sweats, cognitive decline, sleeping, weight gain, thinning hair. Signs and symptoms of menopause, which I love what you've also put, are usually enough to tell most women they're starting the menopause transition, also known as perimenopause. This can go up for 10 years. And I'm so pleased that you put that in there, because women really need to be what you've written after this about good fats and sugars and everything that you're going to tell them. The typical ease of menstrual periods for 1 year, accompanied by the above symptoms, will determine the diagnosis of the actual menopause. This can be done to confirm this stage, including FSH testing and estradiol. And then the most important part. So what I loved, I'm going to let Rose do a lot of talking now, because she knows a lot about this. And get your pens and papers out, ladies. This will be made into an IGTV. If I can get any questions on there, I will. But just take this time to be able to write down what she's going to tell, what Rose is going to go through with us, like, what's going to be happening to our bodies, good fats, what we should be eating, what should we not be less doing, just basically just give us, because each of us are different, but just give us a basic run through for the ladies. Okay. And then is there any questions that I can see that have been popped up or I will really ask you after that. Okay. And then right at the end, we can talk about the veggie keto that I did, but we'll go to that at the end. Because I think women just need to know what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. I think that's where they're getting all very worried.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is actually that it's not rocket science, and actually there's some really simple things that you need to understand, which is one, that we need to understand that we need to eliminate estrogen. So if you have a lot of estrogen, and this is more to do with estrogen dominance, but still, a lot of any hormone actually, you need to be able to balance hormones. You need to make sure that you're eliminating properly. So as a nutritionist, we love to talk about the bowel and bowel movements. So, so fiber is really, really key. So there are three things anyway, we'll go through fiber first. Fiber is really, really important. So, and it's been shown because it actually attaches to extra hormones and takes them out of the body. So it helps your elimination of hormones, which in turn helps your balance in your body of hormones. So it means that they don't recirculate. So hormones that don't get eliminated can recirculate and upset your balance, which will upset your testosterone balance, your progesterone balance, Yeah. And then on top of that, there are things. Sugar is a nightmare. Sugar is an absolute nightmare for perimenopause and menopause. It is, and I'll explain why. It's not just the menopause, but when you get into your 40s and 50s, your body's insulin response has been completely blunted over years of abusing it, basically. When you're 16, 17, 18, 28 even, you're just like drinking what you like, eating as much sugar as you like, doesn't touch the sides. You can lose half a stone in a day if you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick. And that is a lot to do with the fact that your insulin, your body, so when you eat something, your body produces insulin, the body listens to that insulin. And essentially what insulin does is it brings the sugar into the cell and uses it.
Right.
If you, as you get older, that insulin, the body doesn't listen to it. So it's what's known as insulin resistant. And so the insulin's there, but no one's listening to it. So the sugar in your blood is really high. And eventually what happens is your body will store it. It will just store it. And it will store it around your middle.
Oh,
that's
yes,
where
and that's the one I get all the time, around the middle. Please
around the
help
middle.
me with my belly fat. Yeah. And that's usually from lots of carbs and sugars, is it?
That's from lots of carbs and sugars.
Wine, maybe?
Well, the alcohol I'm getting there, I was warming them up to the alcohol.
Okay.
Because like, you're going to hate me, because alcohol and coffee and things like that are just that, I mean, it's, white wine. And also, I think around our age, people want to drink more wine. It seems like everybody is very attached to their wine. And actually, any alcohol is really, really unhelpful to what we're trying to battle against. You know, what I said at the beginning about your fibre eliminating the hormones, it's also liver problem that. And then if you're drinking, the liver problem is double, because your liver is being bogged down with, alcohol and hormones and pollutants. So you kind of want to think about, giving alcohol. When I speak to clients, I'm always like, I sort of have to negotiate a bit, because they can be quite difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, they're like, where's my life going to go? Yeah,
exactly. And they've got into a rhythm and a habit of having that glass of wine or 2 or 3 every night. And
it's not good at all. No. So
no.
What did you say, in moderation, like maybe just weekends, but then don't have a binge at weekend and go like all day Friday and all day Saturday.
No, I know. No, exactly. That's, I mean, because I have to say that I'm a binge drinker.
Yeah.
knows this well. But, but I'm not a glass a day kind of girl. I never have been.
No.
But I know that if I do that binge, I feel absolutely awful. So I've really, I guess everybody says, oh, you have to slow down. I've really slowed down.
Slow down, because that feeling is the worst the next day, isn't it?
It's the worst, And also I notice in my skin quality and the fat around the middle, you can see it at my age. I can see it go on quite quickly, you lose all that hard work you've done.
In an hour or so. I was there. Beginning of lockdown, it was like, I was like, oh my God, I was like really good, and then all of a sudden I went really bad, and then I all of a sudden was like, oh my God, got to get this off. And that's when I decided to do the veggie keto. So it's a healthy one. It's not like loads of butters and cheese and meat like the Atkins, because that's what we used to all think turning the ketosis in was like. You had to do it with that, but you don't have to do it with that.
No,
because you've sent me a really good one with lots of scrambled tofu and amazing stuff on it. And
like I said, I call it a nutritional keto. So it's not
nutritional,
cutting out, not cutting out, because again, it goes back to fibre. If the Atkins style has 0 fibre in it, your bowel movement will slow down to awful. And then all that stuff is just sitting and recycling, and that that's really, for a menopausal woman, you need everything to be firing on all cylinders to get you through.
Absolutely, you do. I'm 100% with you with that. Right, there's a couple of things down here I wanted to ask you about. Okay, can you tell me, it says here that you can't stress enough at this age and how important healthy fats are. Now, I know lots of women will go, oh no, fats. But fats are good for us, aren't they? Fats are the one for us, yes.
They are. They are so good. So I think what you guys have to think, or what you should be thinking, is high fat, high good fat, high lean protein, and low carb. That's the diet. It's basically a low carb, high fat diet is what you want to be thinking. Because basically fats, good fats, I keep saying fats, not all fats, good fats are they're anti-inflammatory. So they help your body be calmer, they help your immune system be calmer, they help everything work better. And also because of mood issues, they help your neural pathways because they're all coated in a sheath, which is fat. And all your cells and your membranes are made of fat, good fats. So you need to have really good fats. And actually all this low fat, and plus actually, ladies, can I tell you that fat is what tells your brain that you're full. It sends the message to your brain, so you're full. So that's why people who eat low fat, fat-free diets end up being bigger, because they're always hungry.
They are, yeah. But fats is the one that sort of tells you that you're good. So also fish. You talk a lot about, and you talk a lot about pumpkin seeds and nut butters. You use nut butters a lot, don't you? I see that.
I love nut butters. I think nut butters. I mean, I
love peanut butter.
You know what? I was talking to people about peanut butter, because peanut butter does not have the same glowing report as almond butter, and it's partly because it's also not a bean. It's not a nut. It's a legume. But I think it's just because of it's allergenic. I think that's why people are a bit scared. Right. And also, you have to be careful what these nut butters have in them. So you don't need it. There doesn't need to be anything added. They can just
I just get things that are just pure and stuff. I love them. I've got pumpkin seeds, sesame seed, all of the seeds in there. And I love them. And I've got one that's got from Dalesford, which is all mixed, like in green. And I love having that.
I think people worry about nuts and seeds because they worry that nuts are really high in calories, and they are. But that calories are something. There's the reason people, I don't ever talk about calories because there's some calories. Like if you drank a can of Coca-Cola, that whole amount of calorific value would hit your system so fast because it's liquid. It would go into your stomach, get absorbed straight away. Whereas if you eat nuts, for example, they're full of fiber, and fiber doesn't break down into calories. It passes through the system and helps loofah your bowel. So it doesn't end up calorific intake for you, if that makes sense. So there might be.
But when we come to nuts, we don't do we? We don't do like dry roasted nuts and salted nuts and smoked nuts and all that.
Honey roast nuts.
We just stay to raw nuts. I see some people put raw cashews up to make them softer in water. Sometimes I see that. When I'm at like Lifeco or those places and they put them in the salad, they're softer. Is that just because so you don't break your tooth? And
no, have you ever seen activated nuts, which cost 3 times more than? Okay, so activated nuts are, what they do is they soak them. By soaking them, they activate. So in theory, nuts and seeds you could plant. I think nuts, and they would grow. And especially with seeds, I know that's true. Nuts, but so what they do is they soak them because it activates all those enzymes and makes the proteins come. So it's much more packed with nutrients. So that's why sprouts are so good, because sprouts have got all that energy coming out of them.
I hate alfalfa sprouts.
Do you like pea sprouts and broccoli sprouts?
No, they're just so bitter on everything.
They're
one of those. I'm like, they throw them on the top of the salad, and I'm just like, oh gosh, why? Just not get my head around them at all. I know how good they are. I mean, you know what?
They're so teeny tiny.
They're teeny tiny, and I just don't like that bitter taste. So, if we're looking at, to be sure to look after your adrenals, you say here, and you say you need to rest when your body feels pushed. So, if you are feeling tired, and us menopausal women do, you would ensure that you think it's good to have a rest and ensure you're getting enough B vitamin. These can be found in dark leafy vegetables, and I think people need to know this because I think lots of people think that they only get B in meat. Is that correct?
Well, B12. A lot of people, B12 is a hard to come by one if you are.
You usually should take that in a supplement, definitely.
If you're vegan, you should supplement.
But this B can be in dark leafy vegetables like broccoli, spinach, cavolo nero, brown rice, oats, sunflower seed, bananas, avocados, meats and eggs. Now, you see, everybody, that just sounds all great and healthy and gorgeous. And so, that's why I want you to have your pens, because you're going to be writing all these down and they're all going to be very good for you. And then also you talk about good quality lean protein, And you will also opt for protein-rich snacks. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, snacks actually is a bit naughty, because going back to the insulin thing, actually,
Yeah.
snacking, if you can avoid snacking, it will help you so much, because so if you think your insulin level when you eat breakfast, or, you know, your first meal of the day, your insulin comes up. And then really your insulin's going to battle because of this blunted response. It's going to take a while to go back down. So when it goes back down, if you then have a snack, it's still up again. And then you have lunch, so it's up again. And then before the end of the day, your insulin response has been up all day long. So actually, really, if you can avoid it, you want to sort of, this snacking phenomenon is
not good.
It's not great, actually. If you can avoid snacking, then
so would you just either do breakfast, lunch and dinner?
Yeah.
And then leave time in between so your food can digest. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
mean, because the UK are terrible for snacking.
Terrible. We are terrible.
Like, 11's, 4 o'clock, 11 packet of crisps, 4 o'clock, you know, a bar or a...
That's why I'm saying protein snacks are better, because protein obviously doesn't. So if you were to have a hard-boiled egg, then it doesn't create an insulin response because it's pure protein. Or, you know, if you were to have some chicken, you know, I don't know, it doesn't. The problem is snacks are not protein.
So we should not be going there. Right, so let's have a look what else we said. Now, I'm glad you're talking about lots of fibre. So fibre is important for the bowel elimination, because I have to actually say that I have noticed my fibre has not been that good lately.
Right.
Don't know why. I just know it hasn't. So I'm going to up my leafy greens then, I think, a lot more.
Yeah. Also things like, I mean, any fruit or veg is really good.
It's got loads of fibre in, yeah. If I have a juice, has that got fibre in, is it usually taken all out?
No, so that's the thing with juices. That's why juicing people are like, oh, juices. No, all the fiber's gone, but you still have all the nutrition. So
I know. I was just thinking,
But I think, you know, that's why fruit juices are no, because they're they're too sugary. But juices, smoothies will have some fibre left.
I will stick to that. Okay. Then we get up to number 8, which this one is saying, this is the one you were saying, to minimise alcohol and coffee intake. These are stimulants and will cause inflammation to the body. And many clients who are attached to both, whilst I do love a glass of wine and try to compromise, only drink at the weekends and stick to 1 coffee a day. When you talk about inflammation, can you explain about when we talk about inflammation in the body?
Inflammation is basically your body telling you and telling your immune system something's wrong. It's an immune reaction, basically. Yeah. And it sends off messages to the brain about that worry the brain. So it's stress. So your body's under stress. And really, there are things that we can't help. Things like pollution, pesticides, herbicides, which, you know, but we're surrounded by things that cause inflammation. Stress is a really, really big one for menopause. Yeah. It's a really big one to try and, you know, and so that's what inflammation is. And it just causes havoc with everything that we have. It causes havoc with the whole system, basically.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely one I think does place havoc, because I have so many women who do feel like that.
Yeah, and so that's another reason good fats are really good, because good fats will help modulate the inflammatory response. So inflammation is really angry, and then good fats will come down and literally calm it down.
My dog's just come home. Okay, so now we say here, cut back on refined sugars. Refined sugars, is that just sugars, that white sugar that's like Frosties, your Bounty Bar, your chocolate muffin in Starbucks? Is that all those refined sugars? You find refined sugars in your biscuits and everything, yeah?
Yes, exactly. All of those things, those white, I mean, I would even go, you know, things like white bread, white cake, you know, white flour cakes.
Cakes, everything.
Cakes, biscuits, all of those things. Tea and coffee and sugar in tea and coffee. You know, I see people who are on like 4 teaspoons a day. It's the biggest waste of sugar ever. And like fizzy drinks. No. Yeah,
no fizzy drinks. So you're saying here, this is it helps to keep your blood sugar stable. Insulin is a hormone that is released when carbohydrates are consumed to mediate, thank you, blood sugar levels. During the menopause, we become insulin resistant, meaning our bodies ignore the signal for insulin causes us the body, which you explained before, holds on to the fat around the middle and making weight loss increasingly more difficult. So so ladies, so look, this is all going to make sense to you now. So we're going to sum it up very quickly. If it's white wine, you've got sugar in there. If it's carbs, it's got a lot of sugar in there, and your body cannot get rid of the sugar. It's turned into insulin, and your body doesn't use it. It will just stick on as fat. So you just got to be really careful, and it's just, you've got to try and clean up your diet and make it yummy and fun and delicious. But you know, it just doesn't have to be a boring green salad. If you go to Rose, she has amazing recipes, and she's going to give some to go on here. Today you will see that in Vogue she's put picked four family favorite meals. There was meatballs. There was a shepherd's pie.
There was a lentil shepherd's pie, turkey meatballs. Turkey
meatballs, and a lovely pasta with green peas and asparagus.
Yes. And there was a courgette. Was there? Oh no, courgette was with the meatballs. And then there was a chicken stew.
And a chicken stew in like a tagine thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So they're on Rose's Instagram today. And they're great for the family, because I know if a lot of you've got families, you're thinking what you can cook this weekend. There you go. And they've been picked out, and I've seen them around quite a few years, those recipes, so they must be favorites.
Yes,
the lentil one anyway.
The lentil one has been around for ages. Everybody
comes up all the time, doesn't it? It's a good warm feeling one. So you know, while the weather's like this, guys, you can do those, and with the rest of the family, they're really good. And then let me just get back on here and we can go through some more things here, because as you know, the adrenals, fiber, we've talked about that. So include menopause loving and hormone balancing herbs. Adaptogens, does that say?
Adaptogens.
What's that mean?
Adaptogens. So adaptogenic herbs are things like ashwagandha, and they are rhodiola and things, and they're herbs that basically that respond to, if you're feeling stressed, they'll help your body feel calmer. They help your stress response. If you feel sluggish, they'll give you a boost. They're great. And you know, I mean, some people don't buy into herbs and don't think they are, but herbs are what pharmaceuticals was based on. You know, herbs were medicine before. So, you know, things like sage is one that I talk to all my menopausal women about, because for hot flushes, it is amazing. Even if it's just sage tea, I've had so much success with sage in clinic. So.
Okay, I might make some sage tea this weekend.
Sage tea is great for hot flushes.
It's good, and you've got different things here. You've got organic raw maca powder. You said that one, Rhodale, lemon balm, red clover, ginseng, sage, chasta tree, ashwagandha, and shantatari.
Shantatari, yes. Shantatari,
They all sound very Indian, don't they? They all sound very Ayurveda.
They are very Ayurvedic actually. And Pukka do some really nice. They do a nice shatavari.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do actually. They do.
Good. I love Pukka teas.
I know. Also, having a tea is a really nice way of not doing anything, especially if you're starting to feel sort of things changing. Then it's quite a nice way to start rather than diving.
With the tea and then throwing like loads of things around your throat. Nice teas. I always think that tea.
I love a herbal tea. I feel like it's prescriptive. I go into my drawer. I'm like, oh, how do I?
Which one? What am I feeling like? I do like that. Like yesterday, I had licorice and
that's good.
I haven't had licorice for ages. I can't remember what it was with. It was with something. It wasn't licorice and peppermint, it was licorice and something, and I was a bit like, didn't really fancy it, but it was delicious.
So licorice is great.
I forgot about licorice tea, and it just really refreshed me.
Yeah, it's really good for stress, licorice. Fantastic.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Really good, yeah.
I'm definitely going to do, herbal teas, ladies, is a great one. So there'll be all these on at the end of the website. So, and you've done some lifestyle tips here for menopausal women. Restorative exercise is recommended. Yoga and walking, and you're a big fan of Pilates, aren't you?
I love Pilates.
Yes. I've got Gabby on Monday. She took last Monday off. She wanted a day off. She said, I need a day off, Meg. I said, okay. So she's coming on next Monday. And And I say to you, I do lots of walking. So I walk an hour and a half every morning, and that's about 10,000 steps or more. And then it's also, it's just good for your bones. And
yeah, I mean, and also I'm a runner, and I know you've been through phases of running, and actually there was I always go on about this, but I always think it's so good for everybody to hear, is that there was an LSE study, London School of Economics study, a few years ago, that showed that walkers were actually after 30 years fitter and leaner than runners, because you can run, people will walk more often than they'll run. You know, you'll go through bouts of going, oh, I'll go running, and then you can't be asked. And so with walking, they found that people were leaner and fitter, so get walking. It's great.
Yeah, and I walk 6 days a week for an hour and a half in the morning, and then at 10 o'clock I do a HIIT class.
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, and as we did know, I did have osteoporosis.
Yes.
And now, and in 2018, and then in 2019 I didn't have it.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, you must be so happy that you don't.
Yeah, and that was without taking any medical drugs from the doctors. That was just by putting estrogen on my inner thigh and my arms, and basically upped that, did weight bearing exercises, and managed to get out of the red into the green.
Amazing. That's so fantastic.
And it's now I'm working with the British, the Royal Society of Osteoporosis, because it's now we're talking about prevention. We're now trying to tell women from 45 onwards, because I found mine when I broke my wrist, and I fell off a 3-meter wall. So I could use it as an excuse because I was 48. I didn't tell them I fell off a 3-meter wall here. I pretended I tripped over the pavement. So then they went, oh, you need to have a DEXA scan. I said, yeah, straight away. So that's why they gave me one. But they wouldn't have done otherwise. And it came up that I had osteoporosis. So, and that was at 48. So then, managing, and then I had it for like 4 or 5 years. And then I got rid of it by just upping estrogen. Like I used to do 1 pump, and I was doing 6 pumps a day.
Yeah, that is so brilliant. But isn't it crazy that actually,
and it's derived from the yam, my gel. So my estrogen is derived from the yam, so it's very natural. And the progesterone that I take, the estrogen progesterone, is also derived from the yam.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that
so crazy? It's like you said, everything comes from something. Like aspirin comes from willow bark, people. Everything comes from plants. They just can't really make it out. Do you know what I mean? It's like you think, oh, does that really come from that?
Yeah, I know.
So also, let's have a look. So practicing deep stomach breathing, I think this is really important, isn't it, for menopause?
Yeah, so there are things that are sort of maintenance things, which these are the sort of things people don't do. It's like me when I tell people to chew food, they go, yeah, just give me the pill.
Yeah, of course.
But actually,
should we chew our food?
What do we chew? No one chews their food. Everyone just goes,
no, but we should do, really.
We should chew our food. We should really sit. I mean, I'm the same. I'm like, oh yeah.
But you should chew till it sort of dissolves in your mouth.
Yeah, you should just. I mean, obviously everybody chews, but do you chew 4 times? I mean, it's interesting to have a think how often you actually chew.
It's like 3 times probably.
3 or 4 times probably, and you should be chewing 30 or something ridiculous, which no one's going to do. But even if you chew,
if you get a bit more mindful, I must say, whenever I come back from like Lanzerhofen or any of those places, because they've made me chew the bread 35 million times a month, there's nothing left.
I know,
and it's actually dissolved so much it started to make enzymes in your mouth. It's so bizarre. I can feel things happening with the bread. It's like zapping and breaking down in your mouth.
But that's the thing is, though, that they say that you should start, because as soon as you start thinking about what you're about to eat, you start making enzymes in your mouth.
You feel that. So when
you're thinking about it, it sets
the bread, and you're just like, I've never known bread dissolve till that texture and that taste and that everything changes. So it's right, it does work.
And also the other thing is, if you're racing around and you're trying to eat and chew, if you're racing around, you have loads and loads of stress, like cortisol, and that shuts down your digestive system completely. So because you're in the wrong nervous system. So you just eat it; it stores to your,
Yes. So cortisol just makes it as well, doesn't it? Just makes
cortisol will always win.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? People
Yeah.
say, you know, why am I not losing weight? And they say, well, if you're really stressed, aren't you? If you weren't so stressed, that's not going to move. So you've
No.
got to learn to meditate and breathe and go for walks. And you have to be loving to yourself,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and eat loving food, and don't look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, that fat, da, 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 because you wouldn't say it to your best friend, but we all
No.
look at, you know. So
I
you just got
know.
to start being really kind and loving to yourself as well. It's a
Yeah.
whole new way of living. This is, it's like
Yeah.
lovely clean food, being really mindful with everything, and these tips like, you know, drinking lots of water, you know, get the fizzy drinks out, start thinking about your breathing, go for a walk. If it means that you have to get off from one tube station or a bus stop with your trainers on, you
Yes.
know, 3 bus
That's
stops
good.
before work, do it.
Do it.
Because
Make it hard. Make it work for you.
for you, yeah, because you have to sit in that office all day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, you said limited yourself to toxins in the home. So basically, this is quite good. We should put in anyway, because plug-in air fresheners are just all that. You see all those ones that are there. We know they're all in the supermarket.
But they,
Furniture polish. They all contain hormone-disrupting chemicals, which can lead to
yeah.
hormones. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And you actually
everyone
see
should,
them squirt, don't you? Actually, when you're in the, like, you know, when you're going to public loos in restaurants or whatever.
yeah, and
And
you
the
go to
actual
the
thing,
pub,
it
they have
actually
one.
squirts at you, and you're like,
You go like, you're like, where's that?
I know.
And you're all like smelling peachy and vanilla-y, and it's just all bad for you.
It's really
All
bad for you.
this.
And but it's also just part of a toxic load, which whether you believe in toxic load or not, some people just think your liver, I can just say, is unbelievable. You know, it filters 1 litre of water a minute, 1 litre of blood, sorry, not water.
Yeah.
Like it literally will take care of you whether you did anything or not. But why not give it a helping hand? Your liver is dealing with so much extra crap, basically.
I know, all the time,
What we
isn't
put on
it?
our skins, what we use in the wash, all of that
Everything.
stuff, everything. So, you know, so be careful of that. And when you go through the menopause, the things like plastics and stuff, I'm sure you guys probably know, but the xenoestrogens, and they have this estrogen-like effect. So if you've already got too much estrogen, or you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all. And that's what I say. I'm always like, if you can use Jason's is a really good organic shampoo and conditioner, and that German make, I'm going to say it wrong, Wilder.
Well, yeah, well, Weleda.
Weleda. You can get it on Amazon. I use their lavender oil. I use just normal coconut oil to put on my body, pure organic coconut oil.
Yes.
I try, and you know, on my face at the moment I've got Dr. Hauschkins, because it's that rose. It's been, you know, it's why I'm so shiny, everyone.
I know, I'm so shiny too, because I'm quickly getting ready to. I mean, I have to put my hands up here about, because I am very careful. Everything in the house is, you know, as you can imagine, like,
of course, with you, Rose, I know yours. Yes, yeah.
But every now and then with my skin, I get really fed up with it, and I will, you know, and then I sometimes with my face, I use slightly more, like, what I'm just trying to give you an example. Augustina Spada, I'm sure, is not natural, and I use that. And you know what I love? So every now and then when it's winter, I use a bit of creme de la menthe.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, sometimes I do, but
I was going to say, I've got a few creams upstairs which I had Olivia Falcon on last night, and I use some of her cream, the editor's list, and you know, I use some of the creams that she, you know, puts forward and stuff. And I'm going to have my face lasered tomorrow and I use Pietra Simmons in Knightsbridge, and I'm having my face lasered.
I use the Theresa Tame microneedling, which is great, because that's fantastic. That's but I think, you know what, there are loads of natural for your face. There's so many high tech natural. Do you know who I love actually is Orveda? They are absolutely amazing.
And we also love Kat Berkey, don't we?
Oh yes, Kat Berkey. I've just started using that. That's just
so am I, because I know that you're doing an article and I'm doing an article.
I am. I'm doing one about the gut.
Yes.
But you know, but the toxic load of everything that we put on our skin, everything we're surrounded, things that we can't avoid, slows everything down.
Toxic load as well. And also, like, you know, we do know the blue light for us hormonal women going to sleep with, you know, if you've got your phone or your computer or your iPad or your TV, try and get them out of the room. I've got big pyramids of shungite each around. I have a pyramid around my bed.
Oh, nice.
Each side, they're pyramids of shungite from Russia, big, and they make a triangle around me at night.
Oh, how nice.
So so they actually zap off each other, and and it's really, really good. And I do sleep really well when they're in place. Now, and they weren't in place last night, and I didn't, and I had a shit sleep last night. I felt like when you feel like you just don't fall on. Actually, Rose, you've always been a great sleeper. I know you have. I've always been a terrible sleeper, haven't I?
Actually, do you know, my sleep is not so good. It can be better or worse, but I tell you what makes a big difference: blue light. Blue light. If I'm on my phone and computer and TV at night, I can see. I mean, I have all sorts of gadgets to tell me how I'm sleeping, and you can imagine. I'm like, Jake says, honestly, my husband is like, honestly, Rose, you have something to tell you how your heart rate is. Everything. But at least it tells, I can sort of get an idea of how my sleep is and my, so. But anyway, but my sleep is, I sleep pretty well.
Yeah, you do. I remember the old days very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so we are here. So this is going to say we're going to talk about now choosing fermented soy products.
Yes.
Are they okay?
Okay, so soy, I know, makes people twitch, thinking about soy. If you have a thyroid problem, then soy is absolutely to be avoided. There is no doubt about it. It's goitrogenic. Really? And I think that sort of, and then I think soy has a bad name because there's lots of crap soy out there, GM soy.
Yeah.
And I think soy dairy should be avoided because it's just highly processed. But when it comes to your hormones and soy, they're phytoestrogen. So not a xenoestrogen, which is a negative. They're a phytoestrogen. And a phytoestrogen will help us. It will help. It's sort of like adding, in the same way that if you put estrogel, it sort of does that. Yes, and so actually things like, so if you just have to source it really, really well, you need to make sure it's organic. You need
I get like a white thing of organic. It's just white, just pure organic tofu.
Yes.
And then I scramble it up as eggs with loads of
and if you can get fermented, if you can get fermented one, then that's what organic and fermented are the two things. Which is why tempeh is so good. So tempeh miso and tofu are the three.
Brilliant. Okay.
And they're brilliant things to add into your diet. But it's the same with anything. Don't have scrambled tofu for lunch, tofu steak for dinner. Of course. It's the same as anything. Oh, hi, Doggy.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So that's good to know. So, ladies, remember that, won't you, please? Be careful when it comes down to your thyroid. If you know your thyroid is,
you should all check your thyroids, and that's
protein
not going to help the
and
situation.
Calcium sources are very good. We need to know about this because of osteoporosis. So you put here organic free range eggs, organic goat's cheese, lentils, black bean, chickpeas, coconut yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt, or organic tempeh, organic chicken, turkey, organic nut milk. I would opt for coconut and always unsweetened. So also I was going to say, when you do go for those milks out there, really look on the side, because a lot of them have sunflower oil in them. They're not just plain almond and water. Lots of them that have been made to be baristo, you'll see they've got sunflower and salt and all sorts in them. They're not, and the nicer they taste, promise you this, it means the more additives they've got in them.
That's so
true. Dried seaweed, I think, is a great one, using your cooking.
So you need a bit of iodine. That's also really good for the thyroid. So a bit of sea vegetable action is really good. Even if you just add some kombu to your, to your stew or whatever you're making, just put some leaves in there. It's really great. You don't need much sea vegetable for. You can have some shrimps. You don't need. I mean, if you live by the sea, you probably get enough iodine from the air.
Right.
But you do need it for your thyroid.
Thyroid here, very important. Our thyroids,
Yeah.
And then it says using that and include garlic, onions, and leeks in your diet keeps cholesterol levels in check, which is great because I love lots of garlic. And we have some and drinks down here, as we were talking about. You've got dandelion tea, which he says initially cooling and wonderful skin. It's a natural diuretic. I always see that. I always forget to drink that one. I should get that one. Licorice tea, wonderful for your adrenals. Ginger tea to bloating. Rose hip, high in antioxidants. And water and lemon, cucumber, or chlorophyll drops. Is that correct?
Yes. Chlorophyll, just because not chloroform.
I was about to say, we all be falling asleep.
No, chlorophyll, it's a great detoxifier. It's great for your blood. It's
brilliant. And we have a natural source melatonin supplement. I'm definitely a believer in melatonin.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Yes.
But you
I do
can't
too.
get it. It's hard to get in the UK, isn't it? I always have to get it when I
No.
go to the States.
Yeah, you can. Or you can get it online.
You can get most
You
things
can get it
online.
online, but make sure you find somewhere, you know, reputable.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I get it. I always get it when I go. If I go abroad, I get a spray.
Yeah, I do the liquid one in there.
Yeah,
Now.
and you know the thing you have to remember about melatonin is that it's a cycle with serotonin, so they all are so interlinked hormones. So if one is out, then you know, so getting that melatonin balance and getting that sleep is really important for
Tell
for
me
your
about it.
daytime. Yeah.
Yeah, I really is. Okay, and then what Rose has done here, she's got a daily menopause smoothie, and she's got a menopause elixir there recipe. So that will all go online on my on the website. And then also, ladies out there, we're going to make this into an IGTV, so for next week. But then you can also, if you want a one-to-one with Rose, and you can make an appointment with her. If you want to talk more lifestyle, or you want to get deeper into a food plan and supplements and stuff like this, we can do, and then we can do supplements another time.
Yeah.
Have we had many questions up there, Rose? Are there any? Not really.
I don't know. I just saw one saying, I don't know about yogurt, soy yogurt. So oat milk is great, as Meg said. Though make sure you don't get it. Make sure you read the instructions, because you can get just oat and water, or you can get the ones that's got oils in it, and you don't want that. And soy and dairy, what other type of yogurt could you have? Well, you could try goat yogurt. I mean, I don't know if you like the flavour of that, or coconut yogurt's a nice option.
So can you give us the veg keto? Okay, I'm getting there.
Oh.
Right, go on, they're dying for that one. Okay, so ladies, I rang Rose probably, I think maybe it'll be 5 weeks on Monday. And I've been in lockdown, and I'd just been eating rubbish. And I always do this. I have the panic Meg, and the panic Meg means like, oh my God, we're coming out of lockdown soon. And oh my God, I'm going to be doing public talks. I mean, I had, you know, all these things flashing through my head. I'm going to be asked to do this and a photo shoot and an interview. And I just picked up my favorite pair of jeans and literally tried to put them on. And they were not going up, right? So that was it. That was like, oh my God. And I am terrible, because when I'm in this, I really, sugar, carbs, salt, anything like this just makes me bloat, hold water. It just doesn't, my body just doesn't like it. Even though I'm like, oh, it's a treat tonight. Oh, it's this, it's that. My body doesn't like it. So within, you know, 4 weeks of just eating like not being very healthy, I was in a lot of trouble. So I got a hold of Rose, and I asked her to give me, what did you call it?
A nutritionist, nutritious keto.
Nutrition keto. So basically so you're not, because if you think of keto, if I think of keto, I think of Atkins, and I just think butter and steak and chicken and all this, which is not me. But you gave me this amazing one here, which I'm going to put up, because it was all the nuts, all the seeds, all the vegetables, whole fat source, avocados, coconut, olives, all the different butters and oils. And then the list of vegetables was amazing, because it was like I had everything from arugula, which I've been having bowls full, lots of greens, with broccoli. I mean, it's just basically, ladies, what I was doing was steaming up loads and loads of vegetables, like, you know, just tons and tons of vegetables, eating bits of fruit. And I'll put this all down there. And then you have the keto dry store. But it really got me.
I was going to ask, did you eat the legumes and beans and stuff? Do you eat those? Are you into lentils and things?
Well, I did do a few beans, but because I am the lazy one, I bought the tinned ones already done. I didn't soak overnight and stuff like that. I just was in Whole Foods and I did a few beans, and then with chopped tomatoes and stuff like that. But
did you, so what I was just wondering, what you got, which proteins were you using? Were you just,
I did tofu. I did my tofus and my pulses and
Yeah.
my avocados. That's what I thought I was getting my proteins from.
And
Was that?
and how did you feel doing
I
it?
felt amazing. I felt within 10 days, it took 5 to 10 days, I felt my body go into ketosis.
Right, good.
I woke up, thought I had the flu. I had the
Yeah.
ketosis flu.
It's called ketosis flu, right?
Flu, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was pressing my forehead going, oh God, I'm aching. I feel really ill like this. And then I called my friend Pip and she said, you're in ketosis, mate. You should be happy. Don't be like that. I'm like, oh yeah. So then I quickly Googled it and it just said, get yourself shitloads of electrolytes. So I bought a big pot of electrolytes from Whole Foods, 3 little spoons into 1.5 liters, and made sure that I just upped my electrolytes and water every day.
Amazing.
So I was doing 3 liters and I sort of wasn't, because I was just sort of, you know, I started off doing 3 liters of water a day.
Yeah.
And then the keto diet, ladies, I've got to say, so this is my 5th week and I think I've lost like 6 pounds.
Amazing. So that's good. And also that's a really good way of losing weight. It means it's a good way to eat too. And
it's really good way. I'm not missing anything.
No.
I'm missing anything because your list is there's everything on there. And then what I kept doing was just taking like different vegetables and stuff out there. And because there's only sort of me here to do it for, I wouldn't really do big major. I can see things that I think, wow, that would be great to make. But it was just me on lockdown. And Nace is here now, but Nace is cooking for me now. She'll be cooking for me today. So basically, I wasn't really doing much cooking. So I was just steaming lots and lots of really lovely veg, and then sautéing like kale with avocado oil and loads of garlic, and you know, and having chia seed pudding. But considering that I got the ketosis, and then I got a ketosis blood test, and I was in the ketosis, it was amazing.
Yeah, because I think people really do think of keto as, like you say, steak and cheese and butter. And from a nutritionist point of view, that's not a great advice for someone to tell someone to eat that. I don't.
Especially not in your 50s, because we know that 1 out of 3 women will suffer a stroke or a heart attack, more than men now.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I
So
know,
with the British Heart Foundation I'm working with, we have to really speak to women in the menopause, because the estrogen that protects the heart when they don't take any HRT or don't take any estrogen, the estrogen, it protects the heart. And the statistics, women are overtaking men, and you think of them big pints of beer and
but
big
also
pints.
Women are smoking more than men. Women
they
smoke
are
more than men now for the first time, which is interesting. So so I mean, and actually the keto, the nutritional keto, nutritious keto, the veggie vegan keto that you did, because people think that they have to get really hard into deep ketosis, to get the benefits. They don't.
No.
You can just scrape in at 0.5 or 0 or 1, you know, into the scale, and you will be in ketosis, and you'll get the benefits from it. And actually the way that you've eaten is really anti-inflammatory, which is also great. You know, you're eating,
I feel really good.
Loads of veg, and I'm glad you feel good, because it is a really great way to eat, and it's a really good way of helping with this insulin response that we've been talking a lot about. So that and intermittent fasting are 2 things that I would absolutely say. And
I've been doing that with my ketos as well. So basically I've been fasting I've been like probably not eating till after I've trained. So I would be eating my brunch breakfast about 11, 12.
Okay.
And then I'd have my tea. Usually I would have nothing after 7.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So then you're doing like a 16-8, and that's and it's a brilliant way to manage your insulin and all of that stuff, which in turn will help you manage the menopause and those symptoms and the fat around the bloody middle that is so annoying. And
then ladies, you will get right. I'm going to keep an eye on this, because it cut out off on an hour on me last time, and we're nearly up to an hour, Rose.
Yeah, you're only allowed to do an hour. Aren't you?
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to post this. And what's your website, Rose?
It's rosemaryferguson.co.uk.
There you go. So anybody, if you want a one-to-one, Rose does great food plans, supplements, and she can really look out for you. If she's got more time next week, go on.
I was just going to say, actually, I think at the weekend I did a poll of who wanted help with weight loss, which isn't something I usually talk about, but I am going to do something on.
You're going to do a diet, aren't you, for 3 weeks?
I'm going to do a plan for 3 weeks, which might be of interest to people if they want
yeah,
to.
I think they would. And do you still do your food plan that you send out? Do you do, or not at the moment?
I haven't because of lockdown, but I may come back to it.
Okay, but keep an eye on Rose's Instagram for that 3-week diet, because all the family can do it. And then all her details will be on our website as well. And she's one of my bestest friends, and we're both pregnant together.
I know.
And we had Alfie and Anais.
Oh my God, 20 years ago.
Have a lovely weekend, Rose.
Thank you for having me
on Megsmenopause. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye, 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 bye.